because I've had a gentleman who was a statue quote me a one of those verses, whatever. So he goes, I recommend you look it up. So I read the whole thing. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
There's one about
But-
malls.
But that's the one he quoted, malls. I'm like, great. Shopping malls or a park.
Park is considered, a whole park is considered the First Amendment zone,
No.
according to the Constitution.
According to the Constitution?
According to Supreme Court and the Constitution. I can even tell you the case to look up on that, and that's Sparks versus White, 2007. It'll tell you all the way through. There was only one thing that he didn't win on that case, and it was something about, like, he had an enormous space. I think it was like 40 or 50 foot or something. And that was the only thing he didn't win on. But, like, he was allowed to
It
set
was
up
what now?
Sparks versus White, and that's 2007.
Yeah, because when he told me that and I looked it up, I went to go have a conversation with him, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but it doesn't apply. And
It does.
I'm like, you could try that, but even the 2011 case, because it happened at Fashion Valley too. They tried to apply that one to that, and the court, the judges actually restricted it compared to what the generality.
Did
of the whole thing.
they appeal it, or did it just stop at the first court?
No, because it was appealed on the first thing, and then the way I read it is there was a specific one for Fashion Valley, and they said that I want to say Brew, it started with a B. He goes, this does not apply because when they first passed it, it was a generalization and it wasn't covering whatever the lawsuit was for the Fashion Valley one, and it's like you can't. It was like you can't because it was a commercial zone, even though the law when it was written it said for common areas, and then but someone said, hey, this applies to this, but it wasn't a common area, and that's when it got struck down. So it's like, oh, okay, so because I've had people quote me Supreme Court statutes. I'm like, but do we know that Supreme Court decisions are on a case-by-case basis, and that if nothing in there has meat in it, but you're trying to make it, into, hey, this applies here. It's like, but it hasn't been fought. I would fight it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. Like, just all the codes that I've written and all the court cases I've read, not written, but all the things I've read,
because this is my pet peeve. The Supreme Court says I could do it. Okay, which one? Because that's not the first case. That's the latest case. But you have case law before that was wrong. This is why this won.
Kind of. Like,
I mean,
with art and stuff,
No,
just keeps coming back the same thing, though.
But I get it. But for me, the way I've looked at things with an open mind and open lens is like you're quoting something from the Supreme Court that only applies to that case. It's case law. That's something they could use for something in the future that, oh yeah, we've already had a similar discussion on this, but I have an issue when people go, oh no, this is what the Supreme Court says. I'm like, yeah, we had segregation. That's what the Supreme Court said, so it's not right. But I get it. I understand. This is what we're working on. But yeah.
Well, basically, until the Supreme Court changes their mind, that is the highest law in the land, and
Correct,
so we
correct.
have to follow what the Supreme Court
But that's
says.
what I'm saying. Someone's using a certain case law that doesn't apply to parks. Like, for example, the Isaiah settlement technically only applies to streets, but they kind of use it to go into the into the parks with the homeless encampments and stuff like that. It's like it's a sidewalk law. We're a park. That's a whole different thing.
And that's how I feel about it too. But like I said before, I don't have anything against you personally. It's just
And I don't have
the
anything.
way things have been going down here. It's like the last time I actually had a good conversation with the heads of the park, we both agreed, hey, all we want is peace. And then they agreed they would help me achieve that peace. And then since then, I have been...
Crickets?
Huh?
Crickets?
Well, crickets from them, and then it's like every day I get a new complaint about what's going on in the park and how it's being dealt with. And then I come down and see that it's not lies, it's all truth. And then the head rangers will say, well, this ranger's doing what they're told and we're doing what we're told. And then I go higher and higher up and everybody's saying, well, we didn't tell them to do that. Well, we didn't tell them to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm all the way up to city council working my way to the mayor's office right now. I am 2 steps away from talking to the mayor.
Well, we need to figure it out.
We do, because it's getting ridiculous. Yeah. And I myself am beyond the point to where I'm looking at lawyers, talking to lawyers, and it's time I get paid back for all this. It's been years of this, and I've tried to do it the easy way. I've tried, and I've been extremely patient, and it's an uphill battle that I keep having to fight, and I'm tired of fighting it. So I'm bringing somebody else in that can.
When you're banging your head on the same thing over and over again, and it's not, this is why the city council is important and all that stuff, to talk to them, and then the mayor's a good person to talk to, try to get this settled.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Because the way it's going now is ridiculous, and
yes, I cannot tell you to stay here. I've already told you, hey, we can't have people obstructing the fire lane. That's it.
Okay. Are you going to write me a ticket if I stay here?
Do you want one?
I mean, if you're going to write me one, I'll take it. That'll get me into a court a little bit quicker, and then I can talk to a judge. I don't really want one, but
I don't want to give you one, but I mean, if you want one, I could. It's easy to write.
Yeah, I'm just saying, are you going to write me one if I don't move?
I guess I will.
Okay, well, let me see what time it is.
5:22.
5:22. All right, well, it's already looking pretty dead. So I'll go ahead and back down from that ticket. I've got you on camera saying that you would give me a ticket if I don't move. That's all I needed to hear. That's enough.
And I have 1,200 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is a prominent area and stuff like that, but there is areas in the prominent area that's not here. You're the only one here.
And the reason I'm the only one here is because all that was taken when I got here.
Yeah, but you were there Saturday.
Yeah, I was, and I worked real hard yesterday, and so I took my time coming out today, and by the time I finally got parking, it was saturated. And that's another problem. Y'all are saturating us. Yeah, y'all are saturating us all in one area, which doesn't make it better.
You're right on that, but we didn't put anybody there.
I'm aware of that, but y'all put the signs up there and then everybody's saturated in because there is no other ample place that has foot traffic. And that is the problem caused by this.
We actually have 2 areas. But I'm telling you, I can't wait till they finally finalize the whole thing and give us a proper brochure to give out, hand out. That way everybody can take a look and be on the same page. And from there on, that's it. That's from that. Until, lawsuits happen and stuff like that, and we get fun.
All right, well, I'll start packing up here in a couple of minutes. I just needed you to say that on camera.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't really need the ticket. Again, the threat of a ticket's enough for legal purposes,
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, 1,200 acres, got other places to be.
But 1,200 acres doesn't mean anything if there are crickets there and you're trying to perform for crickets, because crickets don't give a crap about your performance.
And I get
Neither do squirrels, crows, hawks, ducks. I even interviewed a duck. He doesn't care about First Amendment rights at all.
When COVID happened, it was interesting seeing that all the wildlife was coming up to us because there's no trash and there was nothing. So it's like, where's the food, guys? So that was interesting. All right, sir.
All right. Well, have a good day.
Okay.